أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم فدلاهما بغرور رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقه قولي فالحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. Assalamu alaikum, Quran Weekly. The 22nd ayah of Surah Al-A'raf is a long one, but in this brief reminder, I want to share with you the first part of the expression that's used in it that has just an incredible amount of wisdom for life in our dealings with shaitan. Allah Azza wa Jalla is describing how shaitan got our parents, Adam and Hawa, salamun alayhima, to make the mistake that they made. What was his strategy to get them to listen to him? Not just what he said to them. We all know that he whispered to them. We all know that he offered them eternity and that they could stay in Jannah. We know that. But how did he do it? What method did he use? That method is important to understand, and it's captured in the first expression of the ayah. فَدَلَّهُمَا بِغُرُورٍ. Dalla is used when you draw a bucket. Like dal in Arabic is a bucket. And adla is to drop a bucket down and pull it right back up. You know, in the old times there's a well and you kind of crank up the water. You know, and you pull the bucket back up. This is adla. But dalla is to slowly lower the bucket, or to put a bucket, you know, for a very primitive way of hunting an animal. You have some food like a carrot or something, you put it inside a bucket and it's tied to a rope, and the animal comes and you kind of pull it little by little by little by little towards yourself, and the animal follows it. This is actually called dalla. Like literally, shaitan didn't go out and say, disobey Allah. He offered it a little bit, just a small little bit of compromise, and they listened. And then he offered just a little bit more. It's harmless. What I'm saying isn't haram. I'm just saying just don't take it a little bit easy, you know. And then you don't have to eat from this tree, in the case of our parents. You don't have to eat from, I'm not saying you should eat from the tree. I'm just saying at least check it out. It's a beautiful tree. There's no harm looking at it, is there? Now, look, Allah's commandment was, وَلَا تَقْرَبَا هَذِهِ الشَّجَرَةِ. Don't go near this tree. So the first thing he says, look, at least you're not touching it, okay? At least you're not touching it. Just go near it. What's the big deal? And then when they go near, then you know what? It's not like you're not supposed to climb it. You're just not supposed to eat from it. Just have a little climb. It's no big deal. And it's not at one time. Dalla also suggests that these suggestions came a day, then another day, then another day, then another day. Like this was a process for this guy. It wasn't like he whispered to Adam alayhi salam and immediately he went and ate from the tree. There's actually an entire strategic, little by little by little winning over the argument that he's doing. فَدَلَّهُمَا بِغُرُورٍ. And that's what he does to us to this day. This is the reason it's mentioned in the Quran. That he drew them out with using this. And the bighurur I didn't translate. Using deception. This is a kind of deception. In other words, there are things that are clearly wrong. You and I know that. There are things that are clearly wrong. But there are a lot of small, not as clearly wrong steps that are there that you should have the sense to know, if I take this one tiny step, tomorrow I'll be taking another tiny step, and then another, and then another, and before I know it, I'll end up in the wrong. So you have to put protective measures in place. And when you put those protective measures in place, it keeps you from falling into trouble. Now shaitan comes and he doesn't attack, or he doesn't tell you to make the haram into halal. Oh, that's too direct. And the Muslim will say, no, it's obviously haram. I'm not going to do that. He comes and he says, listen, this one little step I'm asking you to take, it's clearly not haram. That's not wrong. You could do that much at least. There's nobody that can blame you for that. And then people come and say to the scholar, to the alim, to the da'i, to the khatib, hey, so I know that doing, drinking is wrong, but can I hang out with friends who drink? I mean, I'm not going to the bar or anything, but sometimes they drink in my office. Can I just be with them? Just, because, they're my friends. Can I at least do that much? Is it absolutely haram for me to do that? And the scholar will say something like, I advise you not to do it. It's not a good idea. It's bad company. But is it haram? Is it absolutely haram? And he says, well, I don't know if I could say it's okay, thanks, I got my answer. It's not absolutely haram, which means I could do it. And that's how shaitan gets you to first hang out with them. Then they say, hey, we're going to the bar, you want to come along? Then you go to the bar and you're just having a Coke or whatever and they're drinking their beer. And then eventually one late night, it's a little bit of a, can you just slip some in? Somebody gave it to you, or they slipped it into your drink and you didn't realize. And you're like, well, I didn't intend to do it. And it's just one thing after another, after another, after another. SubhanAllah. This is فَدَلَّهُمَا بِغُرُورٍ. This is the same surah in which Allah mentions the story of Barsisa, who went little by little into sin. And this is not the occasion to tell you that story, but the point is the same. Shaitan will not come at you directly calling you to do the wrong thing. Shaitan will come at you to try to just compromise or get on the road to the wrong. And by the way, when you're on that road, until you do the wrong, nobody can come out and directly tell you, listen, by the way, this is wrong what you're doing. Because it's not wrong. It's on the road to it. And if you don't recognize that you're being pulled slowly but surely towards it, then you only have yourself to blame. This is why Allah's commandment to Adam alayhi salam, the advice to Adam alayhi salam, wasn't just don't eat from this tree. The advice was don't go near it. There's a big difference between those two things, you know. And so you and I have to recognize there are some things that are clearly haram, but there's a road that leads to them. We have to watch out and not go on that track that shaitan's trying to reel us into. Barakallahu li wa lakum. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Assalamu alaikum everyone. If you benefited from these reminders, please support Quran Weekly by clicking the link below.